Hey guys, Rex Overdrive here with another movie review, and this time we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming. And I've been excited for this movie ever since seeing Tom Holland's take on Spider-Man in Captain America Civil War, but I think the majority of people were on board with his take on Spider-Man, but we only got like a sampler size. I needed to see more. And Spider-Man Homecoming takes place after the events of Captain America Civil War, and Peter Parker has to balance high school and also fighting off street-level crime, but the Vulture has emerged and threatens Peter Parker and those close to him. And like I said earlier, this film stars Tom Holland as Peter Parker, and this is a very different take on Spider-Man. It has a very young and youthful vibe, and unlike the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, all the kids in high school are actually teenagers, at least from what it looks like. But, you know, those Tobey Maguire movies, everyone was like 25 to 30-year-olds. Not in this movie, everyone looks like a teenager. It feels real. And after watching an entire movie of Tom Holland as Peter Parker and in the suit as Spider-Man, I think he might be my favorite actor playing this role. I mean, there's just something about this guy. He has that level of like dorkiness and awkwardness to Peter Parker, but he still has that likability and charisma while he's flying around the city taking out thugs. And for me, these guys just nailed it when it came to that like fun and youthful tone, and Tom Holland he embodies this character, and he just has that hopeful and optimistic viewpoint, but he still has that like naive teenager perspective. Now, when I heard that Michael Keaton was cast to play the Vulture, the villain in this movie, I was sold. I mean, you have this guy that's a pro at playing characters like Birdman or Batman. There's just something about this actor that gets drawn towards these characters that fly. But I wasn't too stoked that they chose the Vulture to be the villain in this movie. For me, like, the Vulture's kind of like a B-list Spider-Man villain. I don't know. Spider-Man has so many good villains to choose from. I didn't know if the Vulture was the right choice, but what the director and Michael Keaton did with this character was phenomenal. Like, the Vulture's one of my favorite parts about this movie. And his character does lead a bunch of thugs, but you can still relate to him. He's not just some weird guy with like superhero powers, but he has an agenda, and if you get in the way of that, he's gonna take you out. But they did such a fantastic job giving this guy layers, but still making him intimidating at the same time. And I also really enjoyed the high school stuff in the movie, and there's actually quite a bit of that. But for me, one of the main reasons was Peter's best friend, Ned Leeds. This guy was great, and I wanted to be this guy's friend walking out of the movie. But him and Peter have such great chemistry, and there's a moment in this movie where the two of them are nerding out over this like Death Star Lego set, and just the dynamic between these two is just so fun, and the comedic timing between these two is just fantastic. And going into this movie, I was a little worried that this could rely too much on Tony Stark, and I mean, I thought it was cool that he was in the movie, but just from all the trailers and the posters, and there's just Tony Stark written all over this thing. But I'm actually quite glad that he was only in a little bit of the movie, but it's not like those little moments that he's in aren't important. He's a very important character in this movie. I thought they just used him the perfect amount, and they even used him to kind of forward Peter's storyline. It didn't detract from Peter's storyline at all. It added to that, and I thought that was really cool, and he really plays that mentor figure. And Happy Hogan, played by Jon Favreau, is hilarious in this movie. And I was actually surprised how much he's actually in this movie. But every time this guy pops up in a movie in the MCU, I cannot get enough. But can we get Jon Favreau to direct another movie in the MCU? Can we get that? And there are a few things that I didn't like about the movie. I'm still not 100% on board with Spider-Man's suit, and I love the look of it. I think the suit looks great. I love the eyes that they animate and all that type of stuff, but I'm just not a fan of all the gadgets that this thing has. And I know it's made by Tony Stark, but it just feels too much like a Iron Man suit, and it even has an AI in the movie. Like, there's a female AI that Spider-Man can talk to, and it has the HUD screen with all the notifications and things like that. It just feels too much like an Iron Man suit. I don't like that, but maybe down the road we'll see him make his own suit. And I also thought there were a few scenes that dragged on a little bit, and I think once you see them, you'll know what I'm talking about. But other than that, and Spider-Man suit, there's not really much I can complain about. This is just a really solid Spider-Man movie. Michael Keaton and Tom Holland are fantastic in this movie, and I just thought it was a really solid Spider-Man movie overall. So with all that said, I'm gonna give Spider-Man Homecoming an A-. Now guys, I want to know what you thought of this movie down below in the comment section, and be on the lookout for my spoilers review of Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm excited to dig into that. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe for future videos. I'm Rex Overdrive. I'll see you next time.